Better bring your weapons out, better bring your vests out. I'ma bring the medics out, they gon' bring the stretchers out. Mom's gonna be stressing out, baby boy checking out. That you eating and treating us, see, I'm the one that piped that. Soon as I'm finished with it, you can have a right back. If I get a piece of pie, my man got the slice. Man, my block poppin', everything coppin', early set a ball. Niggas play hard till I put the collie fire. And I'm a shooter, I really clap, homie, now. And fuck the jail, cause my nigga Raw told me now. I'm skipping bail when we in this fresh out the dealership. Ain't no love in this shit for real. Everybody going to jail while they getting killed. Get a life sentence, now you taking Benadryl. From Philippe Child to Child Line just to get your meals.
Robert Rameek Williams, aka Meek Mill, born May 6, 1987. Today's feature really could have been the greatest rapper of all time, really. That's not to say he's not popular or rich or even still pretty good and doing solid numbers. But as the sayings go, with great power comes great responsibility. With great talent and opportunity comes great expectations. The expectations from Meek Mill in 2011 was not to become a good rapper. He was supposed to have been the best, at least of the 2010s. Let's not get it twisted. What you see we have in hip-hop today as far as so-called street rappers, Meek Mill was the father of it all, and he came at the perfect time to do so. The 2000s is considered one of the golden ages of rap and hip-hop, but by the end of the decade, it was time for something new. But not anything too far off that the generation being ushered out couldn't champion. What I mean is, the difference between he and the new generation of street rappers is Meek Mill could actually rap, like rap. So him being the torchbearer of an era of great MCs that took pride in bars, originality, style, cadence, similes, metaphors, entendres, and stories seemed natural. Now it's all about perception and murder, true or not. Drugs, money phones, designer clothes, melodies, and being shiesty. Of course, that's the evolution, and I'm not mad at that. But Meek was cut from a golden era cloth and torched in the new young, aggressive, trouble-attracting, against the old rules, pain in his music street rap artist. I remember seeing him perform I'm a Boss at a show and he was stamped. He had it. The look, the pedigree, raw, real, and a hungry Philly style we hadn't seen before. Many mention his screaming, but at one time we loved him for just that. Did it become redundant? Yes, but you can't tell me his intro for his debut album Dreams and Nightmares isn't the best intro of the decade and top 3 of all time, and it's not 3. I think you get the point of how much talent and opportunity Meek Mill had and understand that it's confusing why today he's not only looked at as a joke or a meme on the internet, but that his career even weighs on the shocking side of disappointment. Is he a star in the rap game? Yes, but then anyone could be a star in the rap game.
Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh my God!
3 reasons Meek Mill's growth was stunted. Let's talk about it. It's your boy JC, StuntedGrowthMusic. Let's get it, man. Meek Mill is a Philadelphia, Pennsylvania artist born into poverty and a lot of personal loss at a young age. His mother moved him from South to North Philly at 5 years old after his father was killed in an armed robbery attempt. She'd have to style hair and shoplift in order to provide for a young Meek. His uncle was a legendary DJ in the Philadelphia area, and he, along with Will Smith and Jazzy Jeff, are reportedly Meek's initial influences. When Meek decided he wanted to be a rapper, he knew he'd have to start from the beginning, like the older guys from the area that made it, and the stories from the greats he was growing up listening to. He began battle rapping all around his neighborhood, usually the last one on the block looking for competition. But being out at the hours he was came at great risk. Later in his teens, he was arrested for illegal possession of a firearm and placed on probation after cops said he tried to kill them. Would be one of his first real encounters with police and has legal issues with them to this day. But the streets sharpened him and was creating his rap story behind the scenes of his reality. Stunt number 1, Back to Back.
First off, oh man. Oh man, oh man.
What do you feel when the beginning of those songs play? Murder on Wax? Well, they were. Some of the best diss tracks in rap history. Back to Back by Drake for the impact it had, the damage it did, and the shocking lack of formidable response by Meek Mill made history. Before all that, Meek Mill was making history as well. To this day, he's up there in a short list for me of rappers of the 2010s with some of the best radio freestyles of the decade, even if they weren't actually freestyles. One thing I think is underrated in hip-hop is the ability to remember. It's not easy remembering that many raps and also delivering them in situations like a taped radio session. Kendrick Lamar, J. Cole, Big Sean, yeah, Big Sean, and Meek Mill. What I loved most was he wanted to be the best, almost to a fault. Like the Hot 97 freestyle he had with Wale and Stali, and you could see the tension in the room through the screen. Not much on Wale's part, but noticeably Meek, as if he realized the competition Wale was and wanted to outperform him, in a label-mate way of course. So much so, I'm not sure Wale even got a chance to rap, and Wale can rap. This wasn't a stage he was unfamiliar. Meek's hunger led him to a record deal with T.I. and Grand Hustle after his solo mixtapes began to catch waves in the city. T.I. invited Meek to meet with him and Warner Brothers, and the deals were done. Because of Meek being imprisoned again in 2008 and T.I. also going through his legal troubles, Meek never materialized on Grand Hustle and they split in 2010. Before then, Meek collaborated on a song called Red Rosé with Rick Ross, who would later sign Meek in 2011. From there, he took off, fast. Tupac Back, I'm a Boss that went platinum, House Party. Meek was becoming one of the brightest young stars in the game. His debut was poised to do great numbers and stamped him as the era's next superstar. Ironically, his first single for his debut album featured none other than Drake. It peaked at number 4 on the rap charts and went gold. The album released beginning with Dreams and Nightmares, aka The Intro, a street classic, and landed at number 2 on the charts. Meek was solidified as next up. Even Mariah co-signed it. But then 2015, his second album rolls around and you guessed it, Drake is again featured on his lead single Rico. Feeling himself coming off a gold debut and being really sloppy, he begins exposing Drake on Twitter for using a ghostwriter on the song because Drake didn't promote the album apparently, and because fans were saying Drake was the better rapper in comparison. It was a careless move, but nevertheless, it damaged Drake forever, but also damaged Meek because Drake proceeded to show him who was the better rapper by demolishing him on wax behind the appetizer Charged Up and the full course Back to Back that sunned Meek's career. Not only did Meek reply late, his reply was forgettable. Back to Back though had quotable after quotable. Bodied by a singing nigga, world tour, your girl's tour. Of course, trigger fingers turned to Twitter fingers. Meek never really recovered from that battle, and as far as losses go, it's up there with the best in rap history. Stunt number 2, fumbled his perception. After the Drake battle, Meek began doing strange things at all times, no matter the event. First off, after the Twitter finger line, Meek was gone off Twitter for seemingly forever. That beef went totally wrong for him perception-wise, as he became the punching bag on social media for years. He started dissing blogger academics relentlessly, saying anything and everything in his Twitter return, and putting his own foot in his mouth, so to speak, any chance he got. These things didn't hurt sales much until recently because all news is good news, and even though negative, Meek was in the news. Championships brought him back to platinum, but not before squashing the beef with Drake and featuring him for his album Single. His numbers were fine, but the more he went on social media, the less cool he looked, and his 2021 album Expensive Pain is the result. Even though it wasn't heavily promoted, those sales don't come close to his prior albums, and his future as a top-tier rapper might be in jeopardy, all because of how I think fans view Meek Mill now. Stunt number 3, Evolution. One of the biggest issues fans have with Meek outside his wildly random social media antics is he's failed to show substantial growth and originality in his career. He's literally been clowned for his often used, rarely rested screaming flow, bars about Rolexes, and even stealing waves if you've heard the song Pain Away or On My Soul. Songs that show a different Meek, but the same style as everyone else right now, from Young Boy to Durk, especially Durk, to Lil Baby. Meek could be the best rapping right now with a decade under his belt, but he seems to have allowed himself to be influenced instead of being the OG by now that has his own. And not only flow. Why is Meek still crying online about not getting paid fairly? You're supposed to have your own masters by now, have your own label, and have put out numerous artists from Philly, and none of that has happened, especially the latter. It seems Meek is quite happy being the only rapper from Philly in the game, not seeing the growth potential in signing young waves. All the greats did. Jay, 50 Cent, Lil Wayne, Kanye, you name them. Not Meek. Even Lil Durk. Meek should have his own label flourishing right now, ripe with Philly artists as the new state property, but he can't evolve, musically or being a boss in the game. Now that sales has dipped, what is Meek Mill in rap? It's hard to speak about his legal troubles because even there, it shows Meek is still aspiring to be the best street nigga instead of growing up, living in a career he could enter the doors people like Jay-Z and Diddy try to push him through. All in all, Meek Mill is still a name we'll remember for a long time when we think about the 2010s as far as rap goes. He's had tons of success and even deserves it. He has the talent in him, but mentally it's like he's James Harden or Russell Westbrook. Must see TV, but you can win with them as number one. Salute to Meek Mill, much respect, but for these reasons, his growth was stunted. It's your boy JC, Stunted Growth Music, and I'm out.